What's up, y'all? Welcome to In Real Life Podcast, where we talk about things that may be happening in your real life. We are your hosts, Erica Dawn,
and Naomi Rose.
and I'm talking to the fake studio audience when I say, everybody, welcome back, Naomi. the,
Hi.
the fake studio audience. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Welcome back.
I know, right? I feel like it's been forever, but
It
hey.
has been that it has. We had holidays, we had illnesses, we had vacations, and
Yeah.
still these damn kids, they still around. So,
The
life.
children.
That's why it's
Right.
called In Real Life.
In real
So
life.
as
Mm-hmm.
y'all can, well, for those who are watching can see the tickler of the topic. For those who are listening, the topic is women having more than one husband. Okay. I am going to preface this by saying that this topic was came about from your girl Naomi Rose. She came up with the topic, so I'm just doing the intro. I'm gonna let her take the lead on the topic. I'm gonna follow up with my thoughts and opinions, but this is very interesting, girl. Very interesting.
So basically, I had already started thinking about this like probably 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, because I started feeling like in the on the dating scene, like again, most of the guys I date don't make as much as me. They definitely don't make more than me. And so that is a challenge because when you think about combining households, like I'm not combining households unless it's absolutely solid, you know. And I have learned now that I feel like I need to ask for pay stubs and tax returns even when I think that you're solid, because turns out the lies
can't
keep on lying.
can't take the
Right.
word for it.
Right. Like you can't even take anybody's word for it. So, I started thinking about it like, well, if you think about it in the aspect of you're building a family unit or the village that we always speak of, then what would be the problem with the woman having more than one husband? Now, there are some television shows I've watched where the men are seeking more than one wife, and there's about to be one that premieres where women are seeking more than one husband. And I'm all for it, sis. I am all for it
Oh,
because I feel like, yeah, it's going to be coming on, I think, in the fall. So I'm keeping an eye out for it because I am like super excited. Like, how do I get in the circle? Like, somebody
are
call
they
me so I
are
can
they
get in the circle,
black
please.
or it's just different races
Yes,
or
they're different races, but I believe that there's at least two black couples that are going to be featured on the show. I know at least one. I want to say I feel like I saw two on the preview.
okay.
But because like economically, we know the country is not in an uptick. It's still a downturned economy. We're still suffering from everything that happened through COVID. And even before then, like a point I always make in discussions I have in school is that men in our community, when they hear the statistic, men make more than women, they instantaneously include themselves in that
Yeah,
male
they
statistic.
think we talking about that.
But it's not them. It's
Right.
honestly not. It is Caucasian or white. And then there's, of course, probably a close call
Mm-hmm.
between black and Hispanic, or
Mm-hmm.
black and those men who identify as other.
Right.
However, the top earner, when they say men make more than women, they are referring to Caucasian men. They are not referring to men in the black community.
Right.
And so why struggle? I just feel like why struggle? And it has nothing to do, and I think most of the time, because men think from a sexual perspective,
Right.
um, and that's just, honestly, I've had to grow to understand that that's what it is with them. I absolutely detest it to the ends of the earth because I'm like, you need to be planning way more about life outside of your sexual desires and your sexual
Man,
conquest.
listen.
However, that's how they look at things. So they're like, oh, well, why would a woman want three husbands? Why she want to be sleeping with three different men? But it's like when you single, sir, how many women you sleeping with?
Hmm.
Like there was Brenda. Like it's
Man,
always the
listen,
DMX line, like
even when they not single, how many women are they sleeping with?
okay. So it's just like if you build a family unit that's a true family unit, then you could have 3 to 4 sources of income for your family,
Hmm.
or more if each earner has more than one form of income. But
Right.
at least you'd have, if a woman has 2 to 3 husbands, then that's 3 to 4 sources of income.
Hmm.
Because she may not work at that point. There is a chance she may not work. She may decide to be a
Right.
stay at home mom if there are younger
Right.
children
I'm about to
involved
say
or
she have
children are
children.
created during a
Right.
marriage. Correct. But if the children are older, or let's say they opt not to have children at all, then that's just money that you can stack.
Right.
You can do all these things that we always hear discussed in our community. Everybody wants to buy land. Now everybody's into the
Hmm.
farming thing and everybody is into the Bitcoin trade industry and all of those things. Well, you need to have disposable income to do those things.
Right.
You need to have it.
You're not doing it
And
with
if
your regular
I
paycheck.
right, if I am at 90 plus K and Martin's only at 60, uh or below, if he's at 60 or below,
Right. If 60.
right. And I'm not the one to say higher education is the only way out of poverty, the only way to be a top earner.
Oh
We all
no,
know there are stories of people
it's
who
definitely not. It's definitely
right,
not.
it's not. We know stories of people who have gone from high school to being entrepreneurs who are successful over,
Or even,
completely successful.
trade jobs,
Right.
HVAC,
But
electricians. My son even told me one time, well, he's only 14, so he hasn't made up his mind. But one time he said he wanted to go to culinary school, and another time he said he wanted to be a pilot. Neither one of those things require college, and I'm all for it.
correct. Correct. And a lot of times because unfortunately in our community, and this is what I say from a statistical standpoint, because what I study, I have to study statistics. I have to
Hmm.
look at statistics. I'm not just talking off the top of my head.
Right.
Most of the men in the black community do not make the decision career wise, what they're going to do until late into their 30s.
Mm-mm.
And you are so far behind the game at that point to be a complete provider for any family.
Late 30s.
Any family.
Well,
You're way behind the ball at that point.
and guess
You're way
what?
behind the ball at that point.
But they ahead of the game on having fucking kids at that point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I said being a provider to any family,
Running
you're late in
around
the
having
game because the
kids.
family's been here,
Right,
right, since
right,
your 20s and 30s, your
right,
early to mid 20s and 30s. The family's been here, but you have no
but you
regulatory
ain't
strong means of
right.
supporting them.
You ain't figured out how to take care of them. Yep.
And I know people nobody wants to hear it, but I look at it this perspective. Males are built the way they're built for protection. A male is built to be able to be a warrior, to be a fighter, to be a herder, to be a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Women are built to be strategic, to raise children, and to rear a home. That includes being economically and fiscally responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just having a conversation yesterday where I said to my friend, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother's third husband was actually common law. They weren't married legally, but she had been
Okay.
married twice legally before.
Okay.
Um, my mother is a product of, she's an eighth child. So my grandmother had 8 children on that side.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked at a factory in Baltimore. Um, and so I happened to just ask my mom because I was wondering how long before I was born, my cousins, my generation was born, were they together? Because I was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
because he's really the only grandfather we knew. We
Mm-hmm.
never met her other 2 husbands because, of course, my generation wasn't born yet. That was
Mm-hmm.
when like my mom was a kid.
Right.
She had the first husband. My eldest uncle was his father, and then the other 7 children had father was the second husband.
Okay.
And so
Gotcha.
I asked her, I was like, well, how long were they together? And my mom was like, oh, they were together since I was like a teen. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know they had been together that long. But
Mm-hmm.
point being, by the time we were born, okay, so of course that's 10, 15 plus years later,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This man was still working at the domino factory. He would come home on Friday. Everybody would give money for the ice cream truck. He would go buy his little brewski, his little wine, whatever he used to drink. He would get in that chair in the corner
Okay.
and he would make sure grandma got the rest of that check.
Mm-hmm.
Lights wasn't never off at the house. Bills wasn't never not paid at the house. Food wasn't never not cooked at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, he was taken care of. She was peaceful and he was happy.
Right.
So when we
Right.
have these discussions about, oh, the everybody be his peace, be his peace, be his peace. No, I'm not being peace to chaos.
No,
I'm not
absolutely
being
not.
peace to a man that don't pay bills. I'm not
Absolutely
being
not.
peace to any men who don't know that the household comes first, that
No,
there
we're
are
gonna
certain
be in
things
an
that cannot be
uproar.
neglected.
Right.
Correct. It's going to
Exactly.
be chaos and war.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just feel like, making family units out of one woman who would probably be the best directional leader, if she's
Mm-hmm.
sound and knows
Okay.
that these kids got to eat, these bills got to be paid,
Now that's
and this money
granted
needs to
the
be
pick.
saved.
Granted, the right
Right.
one is pick because we all know some
Exactly.
women who ain't on that.
And that's what I say, as long as she's on it, And that's why for myself, I considered it because I know, like, as someone who's been taking care of myself as long as I have, I don't
Mm-hmm.
play about bills.
Right.
I'm not going to run off to Aruba and my bills aren't paid. And I have no way to pay them before I leave for Aruba or before I get
Not
back.
gonna go
Like,
run
it's not
off
gonna happen.
to Jamaica and not pay your rent and lose your apartment.
Correct. Not gonna happen. And so it's not about, and the thing I have to explain to people is like, and I've done research on poly relationships.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of modern day participants have turned it into, again, a sexual experience where they are sleeping with multiple people at the same
Mm-hmm.
time and it's considered poly. That
Mm-hmm.
couldn't be further from the definition of the actual relationships. And
Mm.
especially when you look at the continent of which our community comes from, when you look at Africa, poly relationships and marriages have always been a thing there
Mm-hmm.
because it was about preserving the family and the unit
Right.
within wherever they lived, and we're not supposed to say tribes because that
Mm-hmm.
actually is not indicative of it. But if you lived in a certain country there, as the people of that country, your job was to maintain and grow that country.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
were instances where if a husband died and he had a brother, the brother would then take on that widow
Right.
as
Right. Take
another
the
wife.
wife. Right. Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it was about preserving the family unit and making sure that the nation continued to grow.
Right.
So, everybody seems to want to
But
talk about
today
black
nowadays
togetherness until it comes to this.
that's not what they want. They don't want black togetherness. They want to be able to fuck mad chicks at the same time. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
And
y'all can't
disguise it
afford
as a
it.
poly relationship.
Right.
Because you can't afford no
And
gas. So we ain't driving
right,
like you just
exactly.
can't.
You can't even afford that, sir. Like,
Right.
so what are you doing? But that's what it's turned into. Um, I would say like a cloak. You hiding behind being poly as a way to fuck multiple women at the same time,
Yep.
and they're
Hmm.
so-called okay with it, or whatever the fuck. First of all, I don't even like y'all like that.
Don't.
I don't even
Don't.
like y'all like that to be willing to
Don't.
sleep with many of you at the same time. I don't care if we're in the same house and we sharing money or whatever. Like I would take on being poly as having some roommates, but I mean that's the only way. I can't like one of you. I can't like all of you at the same time and like
Yeah.
emotions and egos, and I can't. If I feel like men's emotions and egos are more fragile than
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
women's. So like stuff that maybe we wouldn't take offense to in that situation, they would, especially with it being so close to home.
Yep.
Oh, when you came home from work, you spent 5 minutes telling him about your day and only spent 2.5 minutes telling me. Like,
Right. Right. And that
oh,
is why, like, and that's
you
why you
made
see in, go ahead, sis.
Like you made his favorite food tonight, but you ain't bring me like, I feel like, it'll start to be like mad nitpicky type of
And that's
like
why you see,
stuff.
even in instances, and I hate using this as like a broad spectrum, but it's no other way to really
Right.
compare it or to show it. But you see, even in cult instances, where you had people like David Koresh,
David Koresh.
right? It had to be a schedule. It had to be a set schedule. This day was the day with this wife. That day was the day with that wife. And again, I think that is something that women would be more keen to thinking about. There would
Okay.
probably never be a birthday
Okay.
skipped or
Right.
anniversary
Oh
skipped.
yeah, no, definitely not. No,
And I
no.
think we have the ability to make more than one man feel special and respected at the same time. I
I,
definitely think we
I
possess that.
personally don't.
Yeah.
I don't like y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't like y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
When we want to, of course. When we want
Like,
to. Now, when we don't,
like,
we gonna disrespect you
man,
all day, up and
listen,
down the block, all
listen.
day.
Get on my nerves if you want.
Okay,
You
rub
gonna
me the
be
wrong way if you want.
you
Okay,
gonna be mad. MADD mad. You gonna be
okay.
so mad at me. Like, but on the topic of like the children, if the situation was reversed, I don't think I could have Ole kids. Like one get
No, I
older or whatever.
definitely.
Like, but do you think that'll create some conflict? Like, okay, he the one I like the most, or the most, I don't know, the genes or whatever. I'm gonna have his kids, and y'all two niggas, and the other nigga, like, nah, I don't want to have your kids. Do you think that they
Oh
would be
well,
offended?
they probably would, but let me take back what I'm saying. So yeah, they would probably be offended if you felt that way. However,
Mm,
if it was something that I agreed to go into, I mean, I'm not really keen on having a whole bunch of children now, given the
mm,
age I am in my life. However, if I were like in my early 30s and had been
mm,
able to explore a marriage where I had multiple husbands, I would have
mm.
no issue with birthing at least one child for each of them.
See, the thing is,
Yeah.
I think that I'm not doing it, number
Because
one.
my thing is,
I'm not doing it. But then, like, I think that's gonna lead up to like you can't. I just feel like their egos are so fragile, like you're not gonna be able to. And I'm not saying like you as a person not gonna be able to satisfy. There's always gonna be something. Okay, you have, let's say it's three of them, right? You have one with
mhm,
each. Oh, but you treat this kid with him better than you treat this, and it's probably not even true, right? But
right,
their
right.
egos are so fragile that that's what they see, and they will pick. I mean, I feel like they're so fragile. They're so
And I feel
fragile.
like, yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I feel like it takes very strong willed, mature adults to be in that type of relationship. And that's whether
Hmm.
it's a woman with multiple wives or a husband with multiple wives.
Hmm.
It takes a lot. You have to be very confident in who you are and what you offer to your family to participate in it. I definitely think that. And I definitely think, yeah, I mean, there will be instances where it becomes an ego thing and there are arguments and disagreements about that. However, do you not have arguments and disagreements because of a man's ego and his pride with one
Yeah,
man?
of course. Yeah.
Like it's something that's going
I
to
just
happen
think the
either way in
situation
dating.
exacerbates it. I think the situation exacerbates it and amplifies it. Because especially another thing I'm thinking of is it would probably be easier if you grew up, not you personally, but whomever grew up somewhere where that's just how it was. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
now we're here like in Africa with the multiple wives and stuff. That's how it is. So that's what they used to. And maybe 1% of people who are stuck on Western culture, don't like that. But when that's all you
right.
know, then it
That's how
is
you operate. Yeah.
right. But I think coming over here, being over here and trying to introduce it it's too much because people are not used to it. So it's
No, they're
like,
not at all.
yeah,
Yeah,
not
they're not
used
at
to it. So
all.
it's gonna be a lot of working through it, a lot of peaks and valleys, to get it right, because it's not something that people are used to doing or seeing. Y'all hear y'all niece in here.
Hey, niece.
Can't do
Yeah, but
nothing
I think
about
that, I mean, again, what can be your standing argument as a man if you are not properly providing, but then you don't want to let this woman go? Okay, well then I feel like I need a second husband. So you gonna have to bust a move, bro. You either staying or you going. That's
I
it.
agree.
Because you don't
What
get
else?
to
What else
hold
can you say?
hostage
What else can you say when you're not holding up your end of the bargain?
of the bargain. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're into the bargain, and I look at it too, because I had to think the other day. I was like, I remember when, me and my cousins were heavy going to NBA All-Star Weekend, because NBA All-Star Weekend is this weekend. And it's really not what it used to be. But
Mm-hmm.
back in like the
Oh yeah.
2000s,
Yes, I
oh
remember.
God,
I
we
remember. Yeah.
listen. Okay, you talking about Party Up DMX? Okay, we was there every year, and we actually went to like not part the events at
Right.
the arena space, and then we went to the parties
The
too.
parties. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but then when I think about the women at that point in time who used to be like labeled groupies,
Mm-hmm.
and I really had to step back and I was like, damn, that was fucked up the way that we looked at those women. And of course I was younger back then, and so I'm just following the line of, the groupies and this and that and I was like, that's fucked up the way we looked at these women, like, cause they kind of understood.
Yeah.
I feel like they understood that there is, I hate to say it, but I don't think there's any level of commitment that men will stay with one woman. I don't. And I think they kind of understood, like, okay, let me have my fun. Let me get something out of
Right.
it. And
Right.
that's it.
Right.
Because somebody said to me like a week ago, it's all transactional. And
Yeah.
that's true as hell.
You
It's true
gotta
as hell.
give something to get something,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And
that's
then
what
I
it.
think the thing we face now as being like women who are successful, pushing their careers forward, and moms and stuff, the thing we face is that we have so much to give. We
Mm-hmm.
bring so much to the table. And then these bare minimalist
Not
men,
getting nothing. Not getting like you said, the bare minimum in return.
yeah.
And
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 so it's
like and
like,
like you're supposed to be okay with that. I just had this a conversation similar, not the poly thing, but where my narcissistic ass ex, he had told me one time, I had not caught him cheating a lot in the act, but texting pictures and stuff like that. And
yeah,
like I was real upset, we was going through whatever, and I forgot what I was saying, but I remember he just looked at me and he was like, well, maybe this is as good as it gets for you, as if I should just fucking settle for that shit. Like, this is what it is. I'm like, you fucking nuts. And
yeah,
mind you, this is somebody that was living in the house that I bought.
right. Of course.
Okay. Who
Of
was
course.
only who was on who when I bought the house, he was only making $10 an hour. Okay. And I think at the point, maybe at that point, midpoint, when this was said, I don't know, maybe.
Uh-oh. Okay. Looks like we lost Erica. So hopefully she'll be back on momentarily. It might have been our niece that pressed the button. Because she
That
likes
was
to do
y'all.
that.
That was y'all
Okay.
niece. That was y'all niece
Look, that's
touching
exactly
something.
what I said.
You gotta get down, Suge. You gotta get down. You touching shit. But at that point, maybe, and it doesn't matter at what point what he was making. I was always making more.
Right.
So I didn't, got this house. I'm paying, mostly everything, because he would decide to give me money for bills whenever the fuck he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? You want child support for 2 kids. Got the nerve to be fucking cheating. And this is, oh, maybe, well, this is it. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? But you know what?
Mm-mm.
There's women, and I hate to say this. I don't hate to say it. No, because they need to be held accountable too. Women, the women in these men's families, they
Absolutely.
mamas, they aunties, they grandmas, making them feel like, I remember
They're
when he bought.
kings when they're not. They're
Right.
peasants.
When we first bought the house, we had a Easter egg hunt at the house. And I remember his grandmother, she had came and looked at the house and blah, blah, blah. It was like maybe the first time that everybody had been over. You don't have to be quiet. And she said, you did good, grandson. And I'm like, you did good, bitch. It's my house. I bought this shit. I picked it out. My name is on the loan. What? But they, they build them up. And you know what? I'm not saying it's bad to build up a man, a boy, a teenager. It's not a bad thing. They need to have confidence. But this person being an adult and already being in relationships and having children, and that they ain't shit, and you won't tell them that. That's how they get these egos like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They giving them false praise. Like, at least give them praise for something that they really doing right. Don't give nobody false praise.
To tell them the damn truth about themselves. How the hell I'm sitting here with 2 cars, a house. I've been making more money than you since I met you. So be glad I even looked your fucking way. And you have the nerve to tell me, maybe, this is the best you can do, and you need to just chill with it. Nigga, I will bring a nigga in here and fuck him and let you walk in on it. And let him knock you the fuck out for opening the door. Are you crazy?
Right. Because you're not gonna keep on playing with me. Yeah. Listen, I'm convinced as far as they can go, they gonna keep on going.
Yes. I agree. I agree, wholeheartedly. I really, I don't want to say I hope and pray, because I don't want to say I know this is not going to happen, but I am raising a boy, a son, a young man. My son will be 15. And, like, I tell him when he's wrong. I'll let him know when he's right. I give him praise and all of that. But it's more to that. You also you can't big up everything.
You can't.
When they do something wrong, that was wrong.
Yeah. My mother's mother.
Correct that.
Listen, my maternal grandmother used to whoop ass. She didn't care. Whoop my uncle's asses, whoop my male cousin's asses, whoop ass, okay? And I think rearing at a young age, it's gotten so far away from that. Now it is, do what you want to do as long as I don't have to be worried. And a lot of that started in the era that we were born in the 80s. And so the products of that time period that we're encountering as adult women.
Right, exactly. And in this particular case, I think that, and this also has to stop too with the blaming. Maybe some moms blame themselves for some things, and they should maybe take accountability. I don't want to say blame, take accountability. But this particular person, his father, which was nobody's fault, came down with he was bipolar schizophrenic. So she lost her husband, because he was one of the ones that just couldn't get away from it, no matter what meds. Like, the meds just
they gave him,
right. He couldn't function properly, so he ended up going back to his parents, and his parents had to take care of him or whatever. So they didn't have a father. So maybe she felt some way about that to where she had to make them feel like they were little princes and kings.
Overcompensate.
Yeah. I never thought about that until now. We talking about it. But at some point, like, it can't always be you did good, and then the stuff that's bad, you don't say nothing.
Sweep under the rug.
Right, exactly, because then they turn into that motherfucker. But regarding the poly, or multiple husbands, I don't want to have sex with all of them. I know that for sure. Like, because I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, what if it was like 2 celebrities that you really, really like? So you don't have to worry about money. The kids are going to be cute, whatever. But, like, really, in my, normal relationships, not with billionaires, that one person starts to get on my nerves here and there. You know what I mean? So I could imagine, many of them, and then y'all getting on my nerves maybe at the same time or one after another. Like I don't know, because there's gonna be some dysfunction or misfunction,
Yeah, some kind of tension.
Once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I at least would want to give that a try compared to what I've dealt with dating on a monogamous level, because the shit has been utterly disappointing. Yeah, because I mean, like I tell people, like, I've been dating since I was like 15, 16, seriously dating, what I call seriously dating. Like, I was like, okay, I'm ready to get married, so I'm seriously dating now. Since like my mid-20s, probably like 25, 26, because I think I used to be hopeful that I would be married by 30. And it's just been a shitload of disappointment.
About a shitload. Do you want to be married to what in your theory? Do you want to be married to one of them and then the other two just be like, or y'all just none of y'all married?
I would want to make it as legal as possible for the purpose of if there are children, if they have biological children.
Well, that's paperwork.
And I have a biological child. Yeah. Right. So I would, but I would definitely want to be married to at least one of them. Yeah.
Really?
Legally. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. But you don't have to be. You can just go get your will and your advance directive and your,
Yeah, but I feel like that would make it kind of stick. Like that would make it a commitment from everybody involved.
It makes it harder to unstick, is what I'm telling you.
Listen, it makes it harder to probably ain't gonna happen because you talk about somebody who is horribly unlucky in love, you are looking at the poster child for it. Like, put me up on a billboard.
Child, I've been divorced twice. You ain't saying nothing.
So it's just like whatever.
At this point, I'll Oprah and Stedman this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could stay in the guest house. We could just be long term. Like, It ain't gotta be, all of that. But I really don't think I can do two or more at the same time. I don't even care about the sex.
I would. They can run all the errands that I hate running. I would have somebody to wash my car all the time.
Yeah, somebody out washing the car.
Go pick some kids up when I don't feel like it. Yeah, right, mow the lawn, grill out on the weekends. Fix the stuff in the house when it's because what I can't stand is when a man say, I don't know how to fix something. That make me want to knock all that shit over.
See,
I would need one who is handy in the house.
I don't mind, but you better go on Thumbtack and pay somebody to do it.
You definitely better do that. Better do that. But yeah, if I can have a combination, like one who is really handy, one who is like great with taking the kids to like sporting events. If we have boys, if they have boys who need to go to sporting events, because I have a girl, so right now she's not going to any sporting events. That could change. She might run track, do whatever. And then one who can share the house responsibilities of like cooking and helping to clean.
Yeah.
I will be in a perfect place.
Okay.
I will be in a perfect place.
Okay.
But I do not count on it happening because the reality of it.
This is all in theory. All in theory.
Yeah. This is all theoretical because the reality of it is I just don't. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't even found one that I feel like is honest enough for me to be with long term.
Let alone two or three. So hey.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah.
Oh well, y'all. All right, we gonna wrap this up. Lord have mercy, Jesus. This has been
we get all the bad comments.
Yes.
How dare she?
Oh well. Y'all can follow us on Instagram at _real_podcast. Y'all can email us at IRLpodcast9@gmail.com. Y'all can watch us on YouTube, listen on Spotify, Anchor, iHeart, wherever you get your podcast. And we'll see y'all next Sunday. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.